We are back here at 7:14 this morning. 1,500 miles of breathtaking beauty. Massachusetts coastline is blessed with some of the prettiest beaches in the world. Many of us grew up in these beaches and are places we're looking to enjoy as the weather warms up and we head to summer. But beach erosion is washing away big chunks of the state's historic coastline. Meteorologist Sherry Spear is looking into what's behind this trend.
Beaches are dynamic. There will always be a certain amount of movement between the ocean and the sand, but higher sea levels and stronger storms fueled by climate change are accelerating that process and changing our beloved beaches dramatically. South Cape Beach in Mashpee. It's been a vacation destination for Jonathan Lyons' family for years.
I've been coming here since I was about 5 years old. My parents, we come up from New Jersey just, for summer vacations. And it's definitely something my mom actually pointed out on the way up. She was saying how, oh, you're going to notice the beaches are eroding.
Today, he says the fishing is good here, but doesn't think it would be a great place to visit this summer.
I mean, it's definitely, there's not much room to put chairs out, so I guess it's going to be hard with the big volume of people that come here in the summer.
Last month, the town nourished the beach, fortifying the dunes with tons of sand. It's one method to try to slow down erosion. As you can see from our drone, just a narrow sliver of South Cape Beach is left these days. And this wasn't even high tide.
We have a natural environment that shifts and moves sand. What climate change and erosion and sea level rise is doing is sort of accelerating those natural timelines.
State Senator Julian Cyr grew up in Truro and now represents most of the Cape.
You can't make a life on Cape Cod or the islands and be here for very long without noticing how our shoreline is changing. And indeed, here on Cape Cod, we're losing about 33 acres a year to erosion. On the outer Cape, where I live in Truro and in Wellfleet, we're seeing up to 3 feet of erosion every year, and can clearly see how chunks of sand and clay have been removed.
North of Boston at Crane Beach in Ipswich, the situation is just as dire.
Over the last 20 years, we've seen 2,000 feet of erosion. So that's about 70 feet a year. So compare that to the last 180 years, where we've only seen about 5 feet a year. We're seeing a lot faster erosion happening as a result of some of these big storms.
Cynthia Dittbrenner is Director of Coast and Natural Resources at the Trustee of Reservations, an organization that manages open spaces like Crane Beach around the state. She says they've decided to just monitor Crane Beach for the time being, accepting that shifting sands are natural, even if the process has been accelerated in recent years.
But other areas of the state where you see accelerated erosion and you have human infrastructure there, then that infrastructure is at risk. And so towns and municipalities would want to think about, how do we protect or adapt that infrastructure?
In the near future, Senator Cyr says a big impact will be access to the beaches.
As the the dune and the shore erodes, we're losing those parking lots. At Boston Beach in Truro, there used to be about twice the number of parking spaces.
The road that you came out to Crane Beach on, that has been flooding more frequently over the last 3 years. And by the year 2050, we're expected to see that underwater every day at a high tide. So greatly restricting people's access out here.
Solutions to these problems will be pricey, but ignoring them will also come at a cost.
If you don't have the beaches, a lot of the local economy is going to suffer. A lot of the restaurants and places that rent out the bicycles and these things, might hurt tourism as well.
Cynthia Dittbrenner tells us some other Massachusetts beaches have seen pretty extensive erosion, like Plum Island near the New Hampshire border, and on Martha's Vineyard. She says Norton Point Beach has lost 1,500 feet due to erosion in just the last 20 years. For your local station, Sherry Spear, Boston 25 News.
Now, coming up on Friday night, Sherry and our team of Boston 25 meteorologists are taking an in-depth look at the issues facing our beaches and harbors this summer. Protecting our coastline, a 30-minute special, will air Friday at 10:30 here on Boston.